Hey everybody, welcome. This is Tucker from MACkiteboarding.com, and today I'm going to talk with you about a long-awaited Parawing release, the F-One Frigate. So if you aren't already aware of how hot the F-One Frigate is, even before this stock arrived, it is really one of the wings that's gaining the most momentum early in this sport. As I mentioned, they're a little late to the release party here because, well, they've been taking the time doing the F1 thing, refine until it's perfect and ready for launch. And I give them 2 thumbs up on that. I do think this is really more of a version 2 product. They've been prototyping, designing, and watching what everybody else is doing early in the Parawing market and coming with their first release of a Parawing that really is head and shoulders above a lot of the rest. Really stoked with the F-One Frigate, and we'll talk with you about that today, some of the standout details. We've already reviewed in our unboxing and overview video, so I'll hit some of those again here today, but if you want a real deep dive into the features of this wing, check out that video here. This one's predominantly going to be about the review and my experience riding it for the past couple of months here. So what we got here is the Frigate 3.0. I've been riding the 3.5 a lot. Been riding the 3.5 the most, but the 3.0 is the first one I've received here that's actually production quality with all the bells and whistles, the nice carry bag. So this is exactly what you're gonna get if you order one of these as a customer, and I think that's a cool thing to show you and explore. But I've been beaten on enjoying the 3.5 sample for quite a while, and it's really holding up nicely, which is awesome to see in that long-term test. So it comes included with everything you need to go fly. I already showed you the bag. We've got our control bar here. Harness loop is even included and pre-attached, as they should be on Parawings in my opinion. We've got color-coded bridles here quickly to show you that. The canopy is extremely lightweight and low profile, so it is a cloud. It absolutely floats out there in the lightest of winds. The back 2/3 of this canopy is very simple and lightweight. All the important stuff really is going on in the front here. That's why it's more complex with these ribs and these D-ribs. And there's just more going on in the front half of this wing where the weight doesn't matter as much, and really where you need to form that airfoil section to create the proper power and speed and upwind ability and just all those things that we're looking for out of a Parawing. So all that to say, they've got a lot going on with this wing, and it is definitely one of the most technical wings that we've seen in the market so far in terms of the quality of the build, the materials, the design process. So kudos to F1 for getting it right out of the gate. In addition to those stiffening ribs up here, we also have some in the back of the wing to help smooth out that air coming off the trailing edge of the canopy and limit the chatter. That really helps increase the how smooth the wing flies in the upwind ability and the top end range that a lot of wings really struggle at. The other thing that's really unique about this wing is that the front bridles, these A-line bridles, are doing most of the heavy lifting. So the first half of the wing, if you look at it, is all off the A-line bridle. So they split into 1, 2, 3, 4 sections right off the A-lines. So what that gives you is a wing that feels incredibly balanced, really comfortable when it becomes overpowered. It holds its shape really well, but it also has a very in-control feel off the lines there, rather than having to feel like you're always, really leveraging it too hard to point it the way you want to. It kind of just settles in and wants to fly naturally in that sweet spot, if that makes sense for everybody. The last thing it does is when you go and collapse this off the A-lines, it automatically concertinas this wing perfectly, but also shortens up the chord length on the wing. So right off the A-lines, you're getting kind of this hybrid pack down that's really easy and fun to surf around with. This isn't much to throw around, and then you can throw it right back out, no problem. If you want to go ahead and collapse from the trailing edge lines, that works as well, and that one really wads up tightly if you're ready to pack it into your pack. It's like almost a one-handed maneuver. It packs down so nice and small and in control right here. And then throwing it back out, obviously, very easy off those A-lines. So that is one of my favorite things about this wing. Obviously, the entire design of the wing goes to make it fly well and give it that performance, but I think that is a standout feature on this wing. The way they've figured out how to lay out those A-lines to do all of that, and it really shows through in the riding of this wing. In terms of the range of this wing, I've been really, really impressed. You'd expect the F-One Parawing to have great range, especially being kind of this Generation 2 product, but you never know until you ride it. And I've been happy to say these have an excellent low-end range. Once you kind of find that sweet spot and get the timing, they pump up quite well. They deliver a good amount of power and lift. In fact, a lot of times I'm finding I want that wing kind of up at 45 degrees when I'm taking off, as compared to other wings that want to be a little bit more vertical out in front of me, and that can be troublesome. They tend to fold in or hit a wave and not provide a lot of lift to get you on foil. But the Frigate has this great kind of lift and takeoff and acceleration that really helps, especially with downwind swells. Sometimes you're kind of stuck between shearing the wind and going downwind with the wave. And the Frigate is happy to go downwind quite a bit with the wave during takeoff without backstalling or flying too far forward and outrunning the wing. So I've been really excited about that, and I've been able to get the 3.5 out for me at 190 pounds in as little as like 15 miles an hour of wind with just a tiny little bit of like knee-high swell, which is saying something, because a lot of times I struggle on other Parawings, even in the 4 and 5 meter range in those kind of conditions. It of course takes some special technique and the right timing, but the fact that I was able to do it a handful of times in one session without too much struggle, I think goes to say how good this wing is. Some other standout features on this: the upwind is fantastic. It goes upwind effortlessly. I would say it's almost at like a wing, inflated wing level. How well it goes upwind. I was out riding with some of my winging friends in underpowered conditions the other day, and I was able to stay upwind just as well as them. Albeit I wasn't riding quite as fast because they're all on 5 and 6 meter wings, and I was on a 3.5. But I was able to achieve the same kind of upwind angles that they were getting and stay right with the pack in terms of where we were riding. So that was pretty cool to compare. And it's even better as you start to get more powered up and you can push into it a little harder and drive it further upwind. It does not collapse on itself. It doesn't want to tip fold or any of those kind of annoying things you get from some wings when they become more powered up. So I'm really happy to ride this wing powered up as well as underpowered, and that just shows you how wide the range is on this wing, and that's part of what makes it so special. Really, there's only 1 or 2 other wings in the market currently that offer that kind of usable range. Either they don't have the low end to get up, or they have a limited high end and they just get so impossible to fly and out of control when they're overpowered, and definitely can't ride upwind well. So I think F1's really hit it out of the park with this one, including this single line harness line loop, which is my new favorite kind of loop. They're easy to attach, disconnect, so if you decide you're going to go on a long downwinder and you don't need the loop, you can pull it off easily, although it really doesn't get in your way just leaving it on here either if you decide you want to hook in and go in cruise mode for a minute. But when you're riding upwind, you really do want a harness line, unless you're just an absolute gorilla and you're too stubborn to ride one for some reason. They're just going to extend your session, help you achieve higher upwind angles, and have more fun out there without getting exhausted or getting like arthritis in your hands or something like that. It can be an issue for real. So, you know, just do it. Harness in. We've got lots of very minimalist harness that aren't gonna, you know, hold you back. That can just help improve your riding. So good on them for including it, because I do think this is the future, to include a harness line with every wing, because most people are going to want them. Now, is there a negative to this wing? I would say not really. You know, to look at it and think, you know, what would I change? I can't think of anything personally. On the sales front, I would say it is one of the more expensive wings in the market. It's not a cheap option as compared to some of the other options at $700–800. You pay a premium for this kind of material. You pay a premium for this kind of quality in the build construction, in the features that it has, but also the R&D that goes into a wing like this. It has to settle somewhere. You can't just spend 1,000 hours on an R&D developing a product, and then even more time in each individual size, and all the hard work that goes into that, and then just say, oh yeah, we'll sell it for nothing. I think it's justified in the price that they're at. I do feel like the performance and the quality is justified in what you receive here. And that's not to say that this wing is for everybody. If you don't have this kind of budget, there are some other great options, but if you can stretch your budget a little bit further, the F-One Frigate is one of the best pair of wings in the market currently, as far as I'm concerned. Based on my testing, I would say it's a big 2 thumbs up for me with the F-One Frigate. I think the name is also fun. It's something different from our typical board sports, wind sports naming conventions that honestly can get a little repetitive and boring. Having the Frigate, which is a bird, look it up. It's a pretty cool naming convention, and I think aptly named from the F1 team. So great work, guys. Another great product from F1. We're really amped on it. Last detail, I'm sorry. Colors. This is the only color it comes in. Every color is the same for every size. Currently, that is anyway. So those of you that want something different than the maroon and orange, sorry, you're out of luck. You're gonna have to check out a different model from another brand, at least for the time being. But I dig that it's simple. I dig that you don't need to agonize over the small details like color. You just pick the right size and go rip and really enjoy it. The bag it comes in, I guess you guys can have a look at it. It does have a little pouch here for the bar so that you can jam that in there. It comes with some spare bridle lines and some canopy material if you should need that. So that's nice to have just in case. This is an ultra light bag, but it's also got some stiff nylon reinforcement so that it should last. Just a quick cinch there, and it's got a nice little handle. So you could travel with this. You could take a backpack or a bag to the beach and cram as many of these as you want, and it weighs almost nothing, takes up almost no space. Got a nice mesh down here so that it gets rid of some of the humidity, the water, the sand. I would tell you to dry out your stuff before you pack it away, but you'll probably have some sand and debris in there that can fall out and not have to worry about, you know, mildew and all that stuff getting into your bag to shake her out. And that's a handy little bag there you can bring with you to the beach, or if you're a winger and you want to bring your Parawing just in case the conditions are right, you can stash this in your bag or throw a little clip on here, clip it on your wing bag, and you're ready to go whenever you be having a good old time. The graphics on this are pretty limited, just giving you an idea of what it is, what size it is. Keep it light, keep it good looking, simple. So that's the F-One Frigate, guys. If y'all have any questions, go ahead and put them in the comments section below. We're doing our best to get as many of these in stock as we can, but as is often the case with F1, it's a really limited production because the demand is so high. So be sure to get a pre-order in or snag one when they're in stock, because the truth is there's probably not going to be enough of these to go around this first year. They never know how big the demand will be, and I think the demand for this wing, once you guys ride it, is going to be even bigger than we expect. So just be aware of that. This has been Tucker with MACkiteboarding.com. We'll see you next time.